I'm live at last. Had a battle with my computer. Oops, put a bit of light on, that'll help. Yeah, fascinating. Excuse me messing about, but I've had a bit of trouble with this, having bought a new camera and this damn computer. I'm 100% down to the fact that I'm a doddery old man and I can't remember passwords and things like that. But welcome to my hovel. You know, it's been kind of difficult. I didn't go to my home meeting today. It's a 60-mile round trip, but it's based on the directions of Alcoholics Anonymous. It's a topic discussion meeting, and it uses the topics that they suggest. They give you lists of them. But recently it's been kind of difficult because of this lockdown thing, and I just find it astounding that you sit there talking about a simple program, and these people make it difficult. They insist on giving their view and their opinion, and like tyrannical little children, even when you point out to them that that's not what it's about. And of course, with this lockdown, you can't hand out sheets of paper because of the contamination with the topics on it. So, and the truth of the matter is, they don't like it. And I didn't go today simply because of that. In the 60-mile round trip, and I thought to myself, just take care of yourself. You're tired. You're not feeling too good. And so here I am. Eventually, I've managed to get linked up to YouTube, which was the worst part of this computer problem I've got. Everything asks for a password. Everything. It doesn't matter where you go, they're asking for a password. I took it down to the local computer shop. He didn't know what to do with it. He'd have to send it away to his workshop or whatever. And it's not only this computer I've got, this is a laptop. I've got one of those mega, in fact I've got two of them, typical alcoholic, 27-inch iMac things. Most magnificent thing. I bought it. I bought the second one because I could. I'd done a deal with a guy. And I'm going to go and put the light on. I wonder if I can I stop this, halt it, or do something to it? So I'll just get up and go and put the light on. You have to excuse me with my bad back. Now, you sensible people say, why didn't you go? The simple reason is I didn't know it was going to work. I'm surprised as you that it's working. And I do this is kind of step 10 thing, this YouTube thing, and it helps me. It makes me feel better. Yeah, and I've been a bit down, been building up over these recent weeks. And yeah, I don't mind living on my own at all. In fact, I understand why people like me have to live on their own. as I take some of my painkiller. Excuse me. Bear with me. I'll get there. If you want to know about this program, then be patient. Where was I? So you're getting down. Living on my own's fine. It said when you're ill and you're difficult to get about, things tend to get on top of you, and it's not nice. So that's the only problem, as far as that's concerned. But living on my own's fine. And this has been to the fore of the past week or so, when the man first took me through the program, which he done reasonably well, except he told me I'd have to study the program. Everything I asked you to do, John, you'll find it in the book. Didn't find us studying the book. But I wasn't going to argue. I'd already tried 2 so-called sponsors. Dangerous, both of them. And so I just kind of bluffed my way through it. I ended up going through the magic of step 4 and 5 and maintaining it and growing through step 10 and 11. Maybe that's where I should start. This simple program. This beautifully simple program. It's still 12-step recovery program. Written by a bunch of alcoholics who just screwed up a 2-capsule. You can imagine, can you? They'd have argued where to put a full stop. And yet within a year, I'll put my glasses on, might take the bad look off it. Within a year, they'd created this masterpiece of a book. And you couldn't make it up. They'd have screwed up a 2-capsule. They'd have argued where to put a full stop. But here they are within a year creating this masterpiece. Try to tell me there's no God or there's no great grand design behind this, you know. And wow, 12 statements of fact. That's important. Based on the experience of the people who wrote the book. And every statement begs a question. How did he do it? And every question, when I say statement, I mean step as well. How did he do it? And every question is answered in the first 103 pages of that book. It's as simple as that. You can make it up. So, step 1, powerless. The first 3 chapters are dedicated to step 1, so it's a lot. It's important that you identify your powerlessness. And they sum it up in the first paragraph of the chapter 4. When you want to stop, can you? No. When you start, can you control the amount you drink? Guarantee when you finish? No. So can you admit that that's powerless? Oh yeah. So the people who wrote the book are inviting you to follow their path. Do you want to follow their path? Step 3. Made a decision to turn their life and their will over. Wow. My first question is, and most alcoholics' first question is, how long is it going to take? Typical child. Just, very much like a child. Typical child. And I wish I hadn't done that now. Yeah. How long is it going to take? And the man says it's going to take a couple of days to take steps 4 to 9. What? Is that it? It's in the book, and it is in the book. So I launch out in the course of vigorous action, the first part of which is a moral inventory. Moral. looking for the truth. Wow. And there's chapter 5. Remarkable. I had my book somewhere. Once again, as is usual. Let me see that. I've got an old one. Very professional. Very professional. Chapter 5. Rarely have we seen a person fail who has thoroughly followed our path. And in my experience over the past 27 years, that's truth. Because I've taken a lot of people through this program. And you don't generally get negative feedback. He is good at negative feedback. Oh yeah, you took him, yeah, he relapsed, she relapsed. Rarely does it happen. I really can only think of 2, I think. They get back to me. So it's pretty impressive stuff. Bad news travels fast. And so yeah, and anyway, it's only going to take you 2 days. So the first thing you do, practical sense, is you get your A4 paper. You get A4 paper, and you draw a line down the left-hand side, a border. You make a border, a couple of inches, and on the other side, you do the same, maybe 3 inches. So that leaves the left-hand border, a right-hand border, and a bit down the middle. You draw a line across the top for your headings. In the top left-hand corner is I resent in that column. So we put the name and the cause in the middle. Short description. And the part of you affected. Was it my personal relationships? Was it my sexual relationships? Was it financial insecurity? Was it? It's all in chapter 5. Well, okay, I'll read it out for you. I'll read it out for you, I think. Could get it. This book's about 20 years old. So this is the original one that I got. Sure. Oh, it says the 4th edition. Maybe I'm wrong. This is the 5th edition. I don't know. There's no real need to change it, actually. There's no real need to modernise it because alcoholics don't begin modernise. Alcoholics are the same in Christ's time as we are today. There it's there, sitting looking at me. A nice new one. Oh, yeah, this is a 4th edition as well. Oh, bear with me. I'm just getting back into the swing of things. So you've got your columns written out. Left hand, middle, right hand. Top left hand corner, I resent is a heading. The middle is the cause, and on the right hand side is a part of me affected. And then I go down 5 lines and draw a line across. So you get 5 lines for each name that you put down. Pretty straightforward. And then you just start listing the names. People you resent. First one that comes to your mind, you know. For me, it was my mother. She frightened me, physically assaulted me and stuff like that. And I put my headphones on. Block out the noise of the neighbours. It's not only alcoholics who need this program, by the way, trust me. It's not only alcoholics. That's better. Noise cancelling headphones. Magic. Magic. So, yeah. It's not, you know, if I get into this further, I'll expand on that. It's not only alcoholics who need this program. So there you go. So you write down the names first. You don't do them across the way, because by the time you're halfway down, some will crop up and you'll be back up with the first one editing this and then turn your hair around, So discipline yourself. The man told me to fold the pages in such a way that you don't see them all, and that's fair enough. So I just wrote down the names. I was in my mother, I was in my sisters, I was in mates, pals of mine at school, and pals of mine where I lived. Just walking resentment, basically. So I put them all down. And then the cause, and then a part of me affected, which was a bit difficult because I wasn't too sure about emotions and stuff like that. But was it you? And that's when you come to this. Some better condition. The family afterwards. Here it's here. Look at that. Just meant to be. Affects my sex relations, self-esteem, fear. Sex relations. It's kind of interesting. That's yeah. I'm resentful of Mr. Brown, his attention to my wife. Told my wife of my mistress. Brown may get my job at the office. Right. Affects my sex relations or self-esteem. Self-esteem again, and fear. Security. Financial security. So, simple as that. I've never looked at this kind of stuff before, never known how to do it. That's what you do. So you go one column, first column, all the names, and the mid column, all the causes, and then in the right hand column, the part of me affected by it. You also do that. Thought you get off lightly there, didn't you? You also do that with principles in life, rules in life that you don't like. Alcoholics will get an awful lot of them. It's the same attitude. And I can never remember this one. 2 out of 3 ain't bad. Dear God. Principles in life. They'll come back to me. So I get all them down. And I discuss it with a man. And we cut through all the rubbish and all the rationalisation and justification that we're good at. Well, if he did, let's cut through that, John. And through that, I discover what I'm responsible for and what other people are responsible for. Responsible is important. It's not about blame. It's about who's responsible for what. It's hugely important. I can break it down. So that's cool. That's cool. I'm beginning to feel better. I'm starting to learn something. So that wasn't my fault. No. I wasn't to blame. No. All right. Okay. Now get a clearer view of what was going on. Because I just blamed myself. It's typical you know. And it's the story of life. You're just a loser. And this was dynamite. I couldn't quite get it all together at the time, but I knew it felt good. You ever got that? I was inspired. I was in spirit. To be inspired, to be in spirit. I like that. I like that. And we'll do that with the other stuff as well. The principles in life and the institutions in life I don't like. The institutions, like the local council, local government people, anything like that. Nothing too small. Nothing too small. And my headphones are telling me that I need a battery, which is fine. So, typical alcoholic, all prepared. In fact, it was kind of landed on me because I didn't think it was going to work. Oh, you little faith. These are bows, in case you're interested. Bows, very good, very good. I've got another set. Sony, just in case I break down. Get my life organised as an alcoholic. You remember the good old days when something broke, you were like, oh, did it? You not get spare one? No. Oh, there you go. So yeah, I'm pretty. It's kind of interesting. You look about this sitting room I'm in with my two 27-inch Mac and my little reliable, very reliable, this little laptop. Actually, Motors on was trying to figure out where he was at, where he left it. Yeah, so I go and talk to the man about it and I find out all this stuff and I think, wow. So I'm a 40-year-old man. And I was so vulnerable. So vulnerable. I wouldn't linger on too much about it because get it done yourself. If you have any problems, get back to me now. I'll be more than happy to help you and point things out to you. And so through that, I figured it was my responsibility and what's their responsibility. It's pretty simple way, nice and simple. And the sexual conduct, which is always hurtful, which I found out over the years through talking to my ex-wife and the things that she found out and which inspired her to take her revenge. They always take revenge, don't they? Never just, why didn't you just walk away? You know? Because we're not the only one who suffers from this spiritual malady. Most people do. Most people need this program. Yeah, fears, yeah. But being fearful, not fear. I get fear of a rabid dog, you know. I get fear of walking about in the dark, you know. But I'm not full of fear. Most of the time, I didn't even know I was full of fear. Couldn't recognise I was jumpy, nervous, and all of that stuff. And this started to be opened up to me. Wasn't immediate. It wasn't just a fucking deluge. It was kind of gentle, gradual process. But it was lovely. It was really nice. And yeah, so this is me discussing it with a man, getting things sorted. And this brings us to one of my favourite pages, if not my favourite page. And I think it's page 76. I'm going to go through. It is page 76. To do some homework. Oh, that's the glasses done. Yeah, and this man who I'm discussing things with here, this man's described in page 18 of the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous. I was 18 months before I discovered this man, before I discovered a lot of stuff. And I never heard anybody talking about this man, ever. And I'd done thousands of meetings. And I'd done 6 in one day. And it was a Saturday in London, early morning one. And I managed to do 6 meetings in one day. Kind of remarkable. Wow. Why did I allow myself to be distracted by that? The man in page 18, the ex-problem drinker, there's no problem anymore, who's found this solution, spiritual experience, who's in possession of the facts about himself. See, people can have a spiritual experience and not even know they've done it, it's happened, but it just happens. But they don't understand it, so they can't carry the message, but they can't show other people how to do it. You know, so spiritual experience on its own is good for you, but it's not good for anybody else. Who's in possession of the facts about himself. In other words, he's taking these steps. He knows what he's talking about. Hugely important person, without whom little or nothing can be achieved, as it says at the bottom of the page, page 18. Yeah. And they're telling you what they've done. They're taking on that responsibility. They've invited you, and now they're going to tell you. And I keep remembering, since the last time I've done this, I keep remembering the contradictions to some of the stuff and arguments that these things cause. And yeah, it's a book of suggestions, says Ray Laurie. It's not a book of instructions. Think about that, Laurie. He was a journalist. He was a man of words, was Laurie. 30-odd years sober, horrible little creep. Sorry, God. And it's true. Yeah, it's a book of suggestions. It's not a book of instructions. Well, what are they suggesting, Laurie? They're suggesting that you follow the clear-cut, precise instructions, aren't they? I shut Laurie up. 30-odd years sober, and that's him just learning that. That's how bad it is in here. It's not a book of suggestions. It's a book of suggestions, not a book of instructions. And yeah, there it's there in the book. For we follow the clear-cut, precise instructions. They invite you to follow their path. And if you take up the invitation, then they presume to tell you what to do. Simple as that. It couldn't be anything simpler. You know, it's like the highway code. So simple. And so essential as well. Imagine if we were driving about without a highway code. It would be carnage, especially the Alkies. I want to drive down this way. You can't drive down that way. So I don't mind it. I'm going to do it anyway. Yeah. I want to do this at a roundabout. Oh, you can. That's why they introduced the highway code, because that's what people were doing. You know, just doing their own thing. No. We need some rules here, and this is it. And these are the rules for life. These are the rules for life. And I like that analogy with the highway code, because it's a remarkable little book. They made it. They knew they had to make it simple, and the little drawings and things that a child can understand. No left turn, no right turn, no entry. Yeah. Speed limits, stuff like that. Fascinating little book. And they do it to keep themselves well. They don't want to hurt themselves. They don't want to hurt anybody else. They don't want to damage their car. They don't want to affect their no claims bonus. It's all very selfish and self-centred. And that's how it works. That's the way it is with this programme. That's how it works. Simple, clear-cut, precise instructions. Remember that, Laurie. You can thank me afterwards. There are people, age full of people that have years and years sober and banging on about a load of rubbish and being allowed to do it for years and years because people just didn't care. Or, well, he's been sober for so many years. There'll be Jimmy up and up that end of the A1. I don't remember what it is. We Scottish bloke as well. He's 30-odd years sober as well, allegedly. A nasty, horrible wee man. Spiteful, horrible. Says horrible things about the programme and stuff like that. And then somebody like me comes in and says, yeah, excuse me, I'd just like to point out that this is what. And then they get shouted down and whatever else. Just a bully. But he doesn't get away with it with me. I'm a horrible wee man who knows nothing about the programme. As they say, oh yeah, the express train to heaven. All right, very good. Very good. You've obviously read the book. And there was another one, he says. Microwave recovery. Oh, okay. You're launching out in the course of vigorous action. Describe it as microwave if you want. It's certainly relating to everybody else has been told to do it. It's supersonic. Microwave. It's all the book. It's not my opinion. I mean, these are the horrible people who go about AA. And most people in AA don't have the programme, so they're still adult children. So it's like a playground. They stick with the mouthy when they got me one. you know. And I'm the troublemaker. I'm the troublemaker. Why are you treating the guy that way? He's only talking about the programme. But. And it's all this stuff. And of course, if they'd been taken through the programme, they wouldn't be doing it. Because I used to do it when I was a newcomer. I used to notice the ones that were causing trouble. And, well, he's upsetting the meeting, he's disrupting, you know, and pointing the finger. And as the man said to me, you talk this programme in those rooms, John, you'll end up drinking coffee on your own. So, don't be silly. This is the greatest thing. This is the best thing that's ever happened to me. I'm going to have to go and tell him. Yeah, well, there you go. That's, you'll see it. And it was true. It's true. No, I don't have any friends or anything. Not that I'm interested in friends anyway. Friends are too much trouble. And I'm not there to make friends. I'm there to carry the message. And this is what the children do in the playground. They isolate you. And most people who do have this knowledge to a degree or whatever, they walk away. Wee Terry, a wee guy I took through the programme who was in death's door, and I took Terry through the programme. And we got on quite well. And then he went his own way. And I remember saying, I'm good. Now you can get in the rooms and take some of the burden off me. He says, sorry, John, I'm going to be doing that. I said, what? I said, I'm not going to get treated the way you get treated. You know, so well, you know, that's how sad it is. That's how sick it is. So seriously, disgustingly sick your average AA meeting is. The programme is a gift from the creator. We've already discussed. No, we are a bunch of ex-drunks who have created this. Screwed up a two-cash, arguing very pitiful, so bang, 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 ram the message home. Don't forget, this is where this came from. So, we're back at page 76, my favourite page, because I've returned home. So I've been there a day. Yeah, and you're returning home. And the structure to take down the book, returning home. We find a place where we can be quiet for an hour, carefully reviewing what we have done. We thank God from the bottom of our heart that we know Him better. Taking this book down from our shelf, we turn to the page which contains the 12 steps. Carefully reading the first 5 proposals, we asked Him if we had omitted anything, for we are building an arch through which we shall walk a free man at last. Is our work solid so far? Are the stones properly in place? Have we skimped on the cement put into the foundations? Have we tried to make mortar without sand? I was fine. I was flying. I was having a spiritual experience and I didn't know I was having a spiritual experience. It was just remarkable. Very few people do this. Even, well, the interesting thing is with the number of people I've taken through the programme, which, believe it or not, is hundreds. I remember 20 years ago thinking, I better keep a track of these people because nobody will believe me. I got up to 150 or something and I said, stuff it, don't care. You're a bit naive. Give me a break. I was only 11, relatively speaking. So we can answer to our satisfaction. We then look at step 6. We look at step 6. Oh, that's all we do. We look at it. That's all they did. Good enough for them. It's good enough for me. We've emphasised willingness. It's being indispensable. Are we now ready to let God remove from us all the things which we have admitted are objectionable? Did that. Step 4, didn't we? Step 5. All the things about me that was objectionable. Selfish, dishonest, self-seeking, and pride. All right. Can He take them on? Everyone. If we still cling to something we will not let go, we ask God to help us be willing. Step 7. the step 7 prayer. And that's done on a daily basis. Until such times as whatever's objectionable is no longer objectionable. And that's what step 7 is. You've completed it every time you say it, you've completed step 7. People say you practice these steps. I practice these 12 steps every day, and at the end of the day, I collapse into my bed exhausted, but I've had a sober day. The guy needs a drink. John Charlie said that, not me. They helped a great deal as well, John Charlie. But here we are, we've got faith now. Faith without works is dead. Right. Let's look at steps 8 and 9 together. Let's look at steps 8 and 9. We made a list of people we had harmed. We'd done it when we took inventory. Oh, good. I'm fed up writing. Excellent. I remember talking to a young guy at Camden Town, one of those one-day sessions. And I ended up chatting to this young guy. Nothing happened by accident. Came from Lincolnshire. And said, yeah, I said, what you on the program? I said, where are you at? I said, I'm at step 8. What do you mean you're at step 8? I said, I'm making a list of people I've harmed and stuff like that. Going out to make amends to them. So I take it you've done steps 4 and 5. Yeah. Well, your list is in steps 4 and 5. As it says in the book, made a list of people we'd harmed. We'd done it when we took inventory. Step 8. That's what it says. I shall read it to you. We have a list of persons, of all persons we have harmed, and to whom we are willing to make amends. We made it when we took inventory. And this young lad's saying, I'm on step 8. You should have the list from step 4, from inventory. And and it has to be said, you have to point this out to them. If it may not help them now, it will most certainly help them later. Because I've talked to an awful lot of people who get set down the wrong path. Especially the big book study people. Most of them don't make it. That's what they forget to tell you that. They go about promoting this big book study, which is absolutely nothing in the book says anything about it. And but they don't tell you how many don't finish it nor complete it. And that's sad. And I bring it up at every meeting. And they still don't come up to me afterwards and say, by the way, you did right. Okay. I've recently had a confrontation with a young guy. He's about 23 or something. A theologian. So I suppose it's in his DNA, isn't it? To go and look for this kind of stuff somewhere else. And he promotes a big book study, even though I point out to him that it's not in the book. You shouldn't do it. Take people through the program first, and then if you want to study the book, then fine, go ahead, study the book. Why would you want to study the wife afterwards? Why would you want to study the chapter to the employer? Why? Yeah. You're an adult child. The less you've got, the better. They should forget that. Forget where I come from. And yeah, I've told this young guy, you show me in the book where it says that you study the book, and I'll apologise in public. I'll go up in the meeting and I'll apologise to you and the rest of your crew. He never come back to me on it. Shameful business. Or cunning, baffling and powerful. Which may be a more accurate way to put it. Right, where was I? Now, yeah, that's step 8 stuff. Right, yeah, that's sorted. You made it when you took inventory. There it's there in the book. You're following their path. Clear, cut, precise instructions, Laurie. Instructions. And yeah, right. And step 9, discuss with a man the best way to go about making these amends. Some of them can be quite difficult, and some of them you could end up causing more problems. But Sorry for having an affair with your wife. What? You my way? That kind of stuff. In my eagerness to cleanse myself, you know, that kind of stuff. But it's fascinating. So there you go. That's it. I've taken steps 4 to 9. To all intents and purposes, I've recovered. As long as I maintain my spiritual condition. Step 10. Step 10 is. Step 4 is a moral inventory. And step 10. Was it right? A moral inventory of looking for the truth. Step 10 is just a basic inventory. The type of inventory a business would take. If a business doesn't take inventory, it goes bust. It's the same way as if we don't take inventory, we'll go bust. And that's it. And yeah, you know how to take inventory, you've done it in step 4. So you know how to lay it out. Except it's now, I can't remember the name of it. It annoys me. I'm out of practice here. It's a moral inventory, looking for the truth. And step 10 is I'm 67 years of age, so give me a break. It's in the book anyway. I'm not here to do it all for you. So you continue to take personal inventory. That was a personal inventory. That's a moral inventory and a personal inventory. Yeah, right. There you go. Thank you, Lord. And it's simple. I've got it somewhere. Oh, here it is. Not many people have seen this, but you good people get to see it. Gratitude list. What date does this go back to? The 7th of the 11th, 96. What was I grateful for? I was grateful for my recovery, the presence of God in our lives, my health, my family, their health, a quiet home, AA, my awakening, kids to school, voluntary work, something else, HTA, green jacket, jumper, a Bible talk, job inquiry, pick up the kids, AA at where? Father John's chair, my share on change. So, this is wonderful, because anytime I'm feeling down, I just look through this, and this has gone back, what's that go back? It's gone back 14 years. Let's go back 96 to 95. Talk with Joe Quinn about golf. I don't even know who Joe Quinn is. Can't remember him. People that come through, pass through your life. And this is a wonderful memory of it. This is step 10. Harlow, I saw Harlow there. Wow. This is 25 years. This is going back. And you keep it in ring folders, reinforced so that they don't tear and split. And they end up all over the place. No, typical Walkie. Which I haven't done, but I managed to survive pretty well. Wow. It took down memory lane there, guys. And it doesn't take that long. It seems a lot, but You know, that's on a daily basis, and it doesn't take that long, and it makes you feel good. You know, gives you a boost. And if there's anything going wrong in your day, you can sort that as well. You know, I resent the cause effects and sort it out and discuss it with a man until such times as it becomes intuitive. Fantastic word that. And the promises. We will intuitively know how to handle things that used to baffle us. Oh yeah. So everything else you do regularly, it becomes intuitive. Like riding a bike, just intuitive. Driving a car becomes intuitive. And it's the same with this stuff. So wow. Some people look at that step 10 stuff and say that's too much. But that's spread over years and it's not too much. And it is seriously, especially the gratitude list. Especially the gratitude list. And discovering the need to go and apologise to someone, which I used to worry about. Oh, was that me? Worry myself into a drink, beat myself up. Oh, you're an idiot. You done that. You shouldn't have. It's easy to beat me up, and find myself guilty. We're good at that. We're very good at that. There's no more, no more. And there's the evidence for it there, especially the gratitudes, especially with the kids when they were little. Sadly, that's been destroyed, but that's another story. Yeah, yeah. So that's just step 10, basically. Read it in the book. Read it in the book. The promises. Intuitively know how to handle things that used to baffle us. Bingo. I love that. I went to a meeting only because they read the promises out and I could hear them reading that out. Didn't even know what intuitive meant. I kept meaning to look up, but I never got around to it as usual, But there you go. And it is intuitive now. I have a good life now, except for my health. But there you go. Even that's getting a bit better without the hospital's help. I could have shaved as well, but it was just an inspirational thought too. And I got the computer working because it's not been working, so I thought, right, I'll try it. And it's good relief actually. It's a good relief because it distracts my mind and it's so easy to get caught up. So all this thinking, all this negative stuff that happened in the past, you never get rid of it. It's just kept back. It's kept back and put where it's meant to be. But sometimes when you're feeling a bit down and whatever, you let things get on top of you, it starts to creep out, and that's when relapse occurs. But you see, the great thing about this, you take those first 9 steps, takes away all your excuses. Ah, but no, no, ah, but no, you're right. Spoils your drinking. It will bring you back. It will save your life. And when you get your head around 10 and 11, then wow, there you go. I've had some horrible times in my recovery, some horrible times, especially with the breakup of my marriage. And I'll go into that a wee bit more in the kind of second half of this. This is what I originally set out to talk about. But it's more important to talk about the programme. And I can do it in a reasonably short period of time. Thank God. Yeah. And so I'll get step 10 and 11 on a daily basis. Step 10's there, I'm writing out, keep the note of it, keep a check of it. Step 11 is your own business, basically. And yeah, the most interesting thing about step 11 is that, oh goodness, I put the book away. What is it? Just to get this right, get it right, son. It's page 80 something. It's easy to let up on the spiritual program of action, it is indeed. The rest of the world, so we're headed for trouble if we do. Basically, I've spoken about it. And just say, everything's cool, everything's okay. Then it will start building up again and bang. But the first 9 steps will bring it back to you. Step 11, sort through prayer and meditation. Prayer is prayer. It's your business. Meditation. See, that's an interesting one. I remember when I first started off meditating. bouncing up and down and mattresses and humming, all that stuff. And they have meditation meetings. Imagine it. No, don't work at all. Well, it might work, but it's not for AA. Meditation. What do you do when you meditate? Remember, this is for children. This program, by the way, is simple. It's not difficult. So it's a simple description of the word meditate. To think deeply. Yeah, meditate. Yeah, think deeply. To think deeply on something. That's what meditation is. All right, that's cool. Sort through prayer and meditation to get, if we've got a problem or whatever. As I say, prayer's our own business. Which then, through practice, 10 and 11, will lead you to step 12. Having had a spiritual awakening as the result of these steps, we practice these principles and try and carry the message to a still suffering alcoholic. That's it. You have recovered, buddy. Oh, is that? Yeah. You will discover that for yourself. You will discover it. You'll have so many spiritual awakenings and so many inspirations through 10 and 11 and going to meetings and talking about stuff. That's it. Wow, fantastic. Go on with your life. See you later. Come back to the meetings, talk about it, reinforce the message, reinforce it. It's got to be reinforced. And that's what's not happening. And that, I've just taken somebody through the program. I don't know if anybody's listening, but it's taken me through the program again. Oh no. I thought I'd switched myself off there. I really am a dummy when it comes to these computers. But anyway, I'm feeling inspired because I've got this up and running again, and it's working, and it's cool. So there, go on now. Any problems, drop me a line. I'll be more than happy. You'll probably teach me something. So yeah, and AA doesn't work. Talk this program in the room, you'll end up drinking coffee on your own. And I understand that now. Didn't at the time. I was quite shocked, and I was really upset. But the interesting thing is that I was only a kid when I first got this stuff. So people started noisy milk, calling me names and state Nazi. Imagine anybody with a program calling somebody a state Nazi. Very revealing, very revealing. Yeah. What's the program? And I said that to the man. I said, "Yeah, somebody called me a state Nazi." He said, "Oh, I wonder what program they're practicing, John." And more painkiller. I've been on these things for 3 years now. And very effective, very effective. But I won't go into that. Because, this, you end up drinking coffee on your own. This is very true of life as well. Because so many people, I was born, okay, fine. And I experienced things as a baby, as a child, whatever, a toddler. Or I don't know, I can't remember. Don't remember anything too horrendous. First thing I remember was tripping and banging my head on the curb and getting taken up to the hospital. That's the first real memory I've got. Getting stitches up here somewhere. And I don't really remember too much. Born in the middle of Glasgow in the slums, the Victorian or Georgian slums, horrible, disgusting. Right on the docks. My father worked in the docks. Dreadful job. Dreadful job. plenty of drink, plenty of whiskey, that Scottish stuff. And he was probably an alcoholic. If he hadn't died so young, he was probably well on his way to becoming an alcoholic. And there's my mother. Wee Amy, poor wee soul. 5 kids. And my father got killed. Seems he fell down the gangway on a ship after getting drunk in the ship, on board the ship, and cracked his skull. There's varying interpretations of that by upset members of the family. It was just a bunch of pikeys, basically, When that was my mother, she was already in trouble with her nerves and stuff like that. And my father wasn't much better. He was definitely an alcoholic, because he ended up in the hospital that the doctors had, and that was Germany. He had a drink problem. He went there to dry out and whatever. And my mother ended up on Valium. Father died. 5 kids. Valium. Drug addict. So she didn't know it. She came very reliant on it. Very reliant on it. And became addicted. We didn't know. Life became harder. And she decides to go get pregnant again. You could not make it up. I mean, how? How irresponsible can you be? But then she didn't drink that much. She didn't drink at all. She wasn't an alcoholic. She was a drug addict because the doctor gave her the drugs, Valium. And we get brought up by this woman. She didn't know anything about love. I didn't know anything about it. None of us knew anything about love. None of us knew anything about love. And shocking. That's how I became an alcoholic. It's not too difficult to see it. But what's interesting about it is, in my journey through 27 years of recovery, which has been fascinating, it has been fascinating, and I have kind of dedicated myself to it. And I will get my reward. And I do it because I like doing it. I like talking. I don't like upsetting people, but I'm not going to let them shoot. And so I deserve something for that. Sticking at it. But the interesting thing is, I'm a taxi driver, albeit part-time. And I start talking to people, and wow, interesting conversations, hugely interesting conversations with people, like ships that pass in the night sort of thing. I'll never see them again. So, but what's dawned on me is that most people don't talk about their upbringing and their parents. They don't want to criticise them. They don't want to. You don't talk about this. You don't talk about that. We get together every New Year and we shout and ball and argue with each other, and that's it for another New Year. Right, okay, fine. And nobody wants to talk about it. Oh, that's just the drink talk. Oh, is that right? Well, and I end up drinking coffee on my own with everybody, because nobody's interested in talking about why they've become the way they've become. And I suppose it did shock me, the realization that most people just sit and talk rubbish, in the pub. Don't talk about politics, don't talk about work, and don't talk about religion. All right, I'll talk about the football. Yeah, all right, okay, fine. That's it. People just going about denial. They don't know why they are the way they are, or how they become the way they become, because they don't question it. They don't know what's happening as children. If you're lucky enough to have half-decent parents, then fine. And you're probably going to be half-decent parents yourself. That's cool. But in my case, and most alcoholics, parents had their shortcomings. The number of the number of resentments listened to about mothers and fathers cannot be ignored. So people don't know why they've become how they've become what they've become because they haven't done a step 4. And I recommend step 4 to everybody. Because then you will see. All right. Oh, I see. And that was, and we don't talk about that because, family secret. Yeah, right, fine. So there's a huge freedom in this. A huge freedom. But people don't want to talk about it. So there's nobody to talk to. There are few people, few customers, regular customers. And what's her name again? Phoebe, they've got a wee daughter. She's young women now. And Big John, he wants the city. Phoebe, and what's her name again? Phoebe, but John's wife, and she's nice. She's very nice with him, and her pal Amanda. Now Amanda's comes from a screwed up background, so her and I have had some fascinating conversations. And she's okay when she's sober, but when she's drunk, like a nightmare. In a kind of, not in an aggressive way, but just bloody nuisance. And especially with men. But she seems to be doing okay at the moment. And but we've had some interesting talks. And but nobody's interested. Nobody's interested in talking about any of that stuff. It's all taboo. And that's where the answers lie. Talking to each other, getting it sorted out. And yeah, of course you can criticise your parents. Parents aren't perfect. Let's not be idealising your parents. Because, they've done this for me, done that for me. Yeah. And I suppose it's fair to say that my example, my life is, it's got to be extreme. 7 kids and a drug addict mother, and poverty, and couldn't even afford toilet paper. We didn't need toothpaste because we didn't have a toothbrush. And if we did have a toothbrush, it was only one toothbrush between us all, believe it or not. And that is the truth. Fried potatoes and beans was a staple diet. Oh no, it's just shocking. The house was a mess. We had bedwetters, so they get stuck in the one bed. And she couldn't just go and wash things and dry them. I've got stuff in the dryer just now. just the luxury of it. With a washing machine, done. And she had to do that for 7 of us. And all the other accoutrements. So it was a fucking nightmare. And she did lose her mind. And I can't say I loved the woman. Because there wasn't much love going about. And it emanates from the parent. So that was tragic. But there's one thing I do have. I have a huge empathy. Nobody has more empathy with my mother than I do. And I've discovered that through my own voyage of discovery. And that's, we all need to do this voyage of discovery and then say, right. So we don't have to wait till every new year and start shaking and balling with each other and then go away for a year. No, that's it, sorted, everything done. Okay, fine. So what are we going to talk about? We'll have to learn how to communicate. And that's the beauty of this stuff, learning how to communicate with each other and not hide and not have this false loyalties towards your mum and your dad and all that stuff. It's all gone rather somber, hasn't it? It's been hard. It's been hard when I didn't know it was hard and I didn't know why it was hard. When I didn't know. And I didn't know that I didn't know. That's cutting back on the powerful. Most of us don't know. We're only children. And we just hope for guidance from parents, discerning parents. Sadly, not always the case. And what a trap, what a perfect trap. Oh, you don't talk about it. Well, you don't talk. Oh, you're the type of person who criticises your parents. Ah, yeah, I met your type before. All that stuff. Hiding it away instead of getting it up front. So, in a sense, I drink coffee on my own evening life, which is perfectly fine. I can go to a few AA meetings and just talk a program, upset somebody if they want to be upset, fine, that's okay. But just don't mess me. Just don't try and mess me about. Although I don't like it, I get upset and get agitated, and all the feelings of violence come back up, And I'm 67 years of age, and I'm more able to handle myself now than I was when I was 17 or 27. It's kind of interesting. And that's a self-respect and self-esteem. You're not going to talk down to me. And if you want to argue with me, you better come with some ammunition. Especially with the programme. Don't want to argue about anything else. No interest. Football. I argue about football. Lionel Messi is a gift from God. As Rory O'Sullivan is. I met Rory O'Sullivan at Amy. Oops, should have said that. Sorry, Rory. And he retweeted something that I tweeted. Rock on, Tommy. And he's a good guy. I knew now his ex-wife. I knew her through the rooms. She was a nice girl. Like Sarah as well. She married Scottish bum. Alkie. What was he again? He was a counsellor. And fucking behaving disgracefully. Oh, Bill. Disgraceful creature. And Sarah was really nice. I've not seen her for years. She was really nice. And he abused her. Okay, I shouldn't talk about it, but I do because it upsets me. So that was that. And what else was there? There's something else. Yeah, so I'm on my own, I'm fine on my own, except my back went, my disc, and that's not been good. And because of this lockdown, I've not had. I was supposed to get an operation to put a bit of scaffolding in there, whatever. That's how I describe it. I had my pre-op check a couple of weeks before. Right, I'm in the ward, getting ready to get wheeled into the operating. In comes the anaesthetist. We can't do it. What do you mean you can't do it? You get a chest infection. No, I'm not. Yes, we have. So I'm not. What's the symptoms of a chest infection? A raspy cough. Not got that. Yeah. Your body mass index is too high. It's no higher than it was 2 weeks ago when you gave me a pre-op. Sleep apnea. Was that you waking up in a panic? No. On the odd occasion. And that's because I had my central heating up too high. On the odd occasion. I don't even know where they got sleep apnea from, because they never discussed it with me. But this was a private hospital. And they didn't have the tools to do the job, basically. And this was their cop-out. And then you phone up the National Health Service, they put you in the queue, and then they cut you off. So you phone up again, put you in the queue again, get through to somebody, right, on hold again, you get cut off. It's a private company who now does the telephones. Imagine that, a private company who doesn't know what they're doing. This is shocking, truly shocking. I kicked up a stink about it, as only I can. Some people think I'm being unfair. Only because they look at it and they put themselves in the place of the person I'm attacking. So God, I wouldn't like me doing it. Oh, no, you shouldn't do that. Oh, because you wouldn't like me to do it to you. No, but I wouldn't do it to you because you wouldn't treat me this way. It's called assertiveness. And, wow. But it's me been here since approximately a year since that failed attempt. Talked to Glenn, who's a osteopath type guy, lad I met at football. Yes, I was playing football, yes. And yes, I phone him up every now and again. Don't keep touch, but purely selfish reasons, he's a backman. So he told me a few things. Maybe I might not need an operation. And I've been doing exercise now. I actually jogged. There was a time when I couldn't get off that chair over there. I just sat there all day and all night. And then staggered in the bed. Then staggered out. Wow. That's why the house is such a state. I can't get about. I can't just go about picking things up. Every time I do it's an effort. And I think myself, I'm having to build my muscles up. But I'm doing not bad. I'm doing not bad. And the back is, wow, it's still there. And it's not comfortable, but it's 500% better, even though it's still bad. So it shows you how bad it was. And so that's where I'm at. And this is just venting in a sense, getting out, back online. Hi there, I'm back just in case you missed me. And, if somebody gets something from what I say, that's really cool. I'm pleased about that. And if you don't, do us all a favour. Just ignore me. Or if you want to have a battle online, then fair enough. You want to, but bring some ammunition. I only talk about the programme, so you're not going to win, because that's all I know as regards this stuff. That's all that's important. Everything else is everything else. Yeah. So that's it. How do I stop this? Use this little mousey thing. Seems quite an apt name for it. A mouse. Right, end the stream. Right, bye bye. Till next time.